What's up? I don't know how many people are going to get on, but I'm going to be doing some stuff, so I'm just going to go live while I work. If anybody has questions, it probably won't be a very entertaining live, but I'll be here for anybody that wants to ask some stuff while I do some stuff. But basically, I'm trying to do a little, I want to say it's a book, but basically I'm trying to do a binder where for clients and stuff to where I can make bids a lot easier and basically just have everything pre-bidded basically to where I can basically just flip through the book and say, oh, this is what you want. Here's the pricing right then and there. So I don't have to guess or basically I can initially give them the price right then and there and it'd be accurate enough. And I don't have to, go back home, make them a bid and, send it to them. It just takes too much time. And so basically I'm just there's gonna be a lot of work put into it, but basically creating a booklet that just basically I can go through every single size of tank and type of tank and basically already have a page dedicated to whatever. So say one page will be dedicated to like a 45p, a 60p. So each size will have its own page. And basically there'll be price options for filtration, every little thing to where I could just flip to if somebody knows the exact tank they want. So say if somebody wanted 90p, I go to the 90p page. And then I can all the prices for the filter that would work for that size of tank, the light that would be for that size of tank. Basically, everything's already set right in there, and then I can just take a piece of paper out, add up all the numbers, and it pretty much just makes it easier for me and the client that wants a bid, basically. So yeah, but basically, I'm gonna try to divide it up to like a standard package to like a premium package, and basically what that means is both will still be high end, of course, but basically what the standard will be like, again, not really low end equipment, but equipment that are still really good, but just will still get the job done and really nice. But the premium will be basically even nicer stuff. So for example, so like filtration wise, like say a 90p, like we were saying, so similar to 90p, the two filtration options that I would have on the page sheet would be, let's say an Awaza 850 or a Superjet 1200. And so the Awaza 850 would be the standard. Still really good filter. That's the filter I would choose probably 99% of the time regardless. But if somebody wanted to go even crazier and basically go all out, just like kind of like the 60p I just did for, a 60H that I did just for a client, how they wanted to go all out and do a full ADA. Well, then somebody that wanted to do something like that could, go with a premium option that would give them a 1200. So yeah, both will be high-end options, but it just depending on, how insane somebody does want to get. So I'm just basically making up pages to where, I already have the equipment that would already work with that size of the tank. And I just have to go through and say, okay, this person wants this, and basically just mark on the check sheet and go from there. And then basically I'll have a bunch of printouts of like actual quote sheets. And basically all I have to do is like go down the list and basically fill in the blanks of what they want. And then at the end, I just take a calculator and add it all up. And it basically basically going to be making a quick quote sheet to where, because of course, everything else, I'm going to have to look everything up individually and stuff like that to where if I already have the numbers already here, and it goes for the scape too, I'm going to have options for scaping. So the sheets will already have each sheet, obviously have all equipment. Then also there'll be, the standard and premium. I want to say standard premium for scaping wise, but it'll basically be which style of scape you want for that tank. And I'll have already prices for that. So going back to the 90p example, so there'll be like nature style, Yagumi, Brazilian, and they'll basically just be already set prices. What it costs to basically get the amount of wood I need to do a scape for a 90p, the amount of rock I would need to do at Yagumi for that size of tank. So just basically have just pre-pricing for everything, to where it just makes everything nice and easy at the end of the day, and better for me too. I'm so busy that sometimes, I can do bid sheets, but it's just going to make it way faster. And of course, getting somebody a quote sheet back really fast is always helpful too. It gets things moving faster. But yeah, of course, like doing these high end setups, and basically that's kind of where mostly trying to do is just especially when I'm doing new setups, it's mostly all 99% of the time going to be high end, but um, hopefully more and more people, that's what I've been trying to do, and a lot of other people, hopefully, bring high end tanks and really, get people to really start doing plant tanks a lot more. But obviously, this is just for people that want brand new setups and want something cool. But obviously, I can do whatever. I mean, I've scaped tanks that are already, I've scaped tanks for people that already have tanks already up and, have their own tanks that they already bought that are, maybe not necessarily high end. They could just be a cheaper custom tank or something. But at least this bit sheet will just be for, if somebody wants a brand new setup, what it's going to cost and all that. But I will have, um, I'm going to start off this, and then I'll actually go through and actually have bid sheets also for what it costs to just do if somebody just wanted a custom scape or just wanted to fix something. So there's a million things I could possibly do. So I'll just make sure I have pricing for every little thing, of course. Yeah, I will stock the tanks. It just all depends on the person. Sometimes I just show people good options for that tank, and I'll show them suggestions that they should do, and then if they want to go out and get it, that's totally fine. If not, I mean, sometimes when I do maintenance, part of the maintenance kind of the nice thing about me doing maintenance on somebody's tank at least is I'll basically bring out whatever you ever need 24/7. So they always have the option if they just want me to go get the fish. That's totally fine by me. But it's all basically the maintenance price basically includes the travel for me. So basically, the only thing they'd be paying for is the actual, the fish itself. So whatever it costed me, I'll just basically add on to their, their monthly bill. But like me going to get it, like the mileage and all that is already kind of basically on my maintenance price. All that's pretty much already just included. So I try to be as good as possible. I mean, of course, most companies, any of the company I work for, I know what they do. I mean, they'll charge for every single model they drive and stuff like that. And there's little things like that that you can make extra money off of. But I just don't do that type of stuff. Um, Especially with the maintenance price of, I'm charging a lot more. It's actually pretty average. I mean, I don't charge ridiculous amount for maintenance, but of course, I mean, plant tanks are more work than people really realized, and there's a lot to it. And obviously, you're paying for the years I've been doing it, my experience. You're paying for, you know, some people will see how fast. I mean, I can in and out and do maintenance for somebody, 20, 30 minutes, and it's like, well, I paid you how much to do that, and it just you're basically paying for. The time it took me, to get that fast, to get that good, it's just all those little things. And of course, um, in the maintenance price, obviously travel's included in that too. But I try to be as fair as possible with my price. If that makes sense. Again, I go back to the thing like most people just don't know about planet tanks enough that there's always this stereotypes, which is true, but that people always say how like reef tanks, for example, people always say like when they ask for maintenance at like the store or something that I work at part time, they say, oh, when they want maintenance for like a reef tank, for example, um, they say, oh, that's probably expensive, isn't it? And it's like, well, really not. I mean, larger reef tanks, usually it's only bi-weekly maintenance. I mean, reef tanks really don't need the the maintenance that say planet tanks do, and so people don't really like planet tanks. We have to go out weekly, especially these high-end systems or high tech. Of course, I mean, you have to do weekly water changes if you want your tank to look as pristine as some of the ones I do or other people do. So people don't realize, you're actually paying for weekly maintenance when it comes to a plant tank, and it's a lot more work. So, it is the maintenance for plant tanks is more expensive, but it's just that's something that I'm hoping to kind of teach people that it is a lot more than what people realize sometimes, for sure. Yeah, most people do normally get the maintenance, especially if they're like doing a full setup of a full high end setup, because most of the time those same people don't really do tanks themselves, or at least if they do, it's very little, so they don't know much. So yeah, usually I would say 90% of the time I do the maintenance on, especially a new setup. But say if I'm going in and like just escaping a tank or um, if somebody just wants me to at least do a setup for them and scape it, in my way and get it going, and then they take over. But that's very little sometimes. Most of the time, the people that really like especially like right now at the moment, people that really like the high end setups are definitely, I won't say rich people, but you guys know what I mean. Um, so they come into the store and see, these pristine, tanks, and like, those people really want that type of stuff in their house. And so usually, they just throw money at you and say they want you to do it, just make it look good is basically all they want. So, but being in the Midwest makes it tougher too, because obviously plant tanks, I mean, at least high end plant tanks are definitely more rare here. But the other good thing about that is, say if I was in California, well, not saying that more people are accustomed to high end tanks, but they've definitely have seen them probably more. In the Midwest, people come into the store and see a setup I've done, or just any of the plant tanks, and it just blows their mind. And so it's kind of a good thing too, because I'm really the only one in town, or at least in the Midwest area, that actually fully does just ADA full time, and just does high end in general. So it kind of, there might not be as much as this here, but the other good thing is it's kind of a one person thing around here, and it's mainly just been me. Keeping livestock alive is just simply having your tank cycled, balanced, ammonia free. Of course, when we cycle our tanks, the biggest thing that's going to be in our water column is ammonia and nitrite. Um, and of course, those are too toxic to fish. So basically, the whole point of us cycling a tank and why we even have filtration is to basically get rid of that ammonia and nitrite. And and so basically, what we want to do, that filtration, once your beneficial bacteria starts establishing, that good bacteria basically is what will attack the ammonia, and ammonia is just your fish waste. And obviously, if you have tap water, usually ammonia is in your tap water as well, but it's all just waste pretty much, and again, toxic to your fish. And so basically, we cycle tanks so we can build up that beneficial bacteria to kill that ammonia. And basically, we want ammonia to transfer all the way to nitrates, and nitrates is what we want. And so when your tank is cycles, when you have zero ammonia, zero nitrate, and then basically nitrates, usually most tanks will usually be zero, especially if you're doing constant water changes. But if you have a little bit heavier stock, I mean, it's never a bad thing to have some nitrates as well. I mean, some people might have 10, 20 ppm of nitrates, and that's perfectly fine. Um, but yeah, basically nitrates are non-toxic to fish at that point. So that's basically what we want. Basically, ammonia-free tank is what we want, and that's what will keep your livestock alive. Of course, I mean, if we're just talking how to keep livestock alive in general, I mean, that's the main point. But then it also is depending on the species you get, where it comes from, if it needs hard water, soft water, yeah, you know, the parameters that it likes. So there's many different factors, but the main thing is just actually having a cycle tank. Yeah, California, because a lot of the ADA distributors, there's basically only like a dozen, just a little over a dozen here in the United States only, and like half of them are in California because of aquaforest and stuff like that. Obviously, being pretty local to them is, people are gonna do ADA more often, but yeah, they're definitely more common. But I still don't think people do them as much. High tech plant aquariums are definitely still not as common here in the United States. It's getting there, but yeah, people just still don't know nothing about that really plant tanks even exist. Is what the crazy part of it is. I mean, the amount of times I see people walk into the store I work out on the weekends and don't even realize that plant tanks even exist. It sounds dumb, but literally 95% of people that look at plant tanks think it's saltwater and they think it's coral. So it's just that just tells you how much people don't realize plant tanks are a thing. And I always tell people, I mean, I can make a plant tank look probably better than any coral reef. It's just, and people just don't realize, you know, it just hasn't been, advertised here as much. And of course, products not being here either. There's a lot of great products that haven't been really here in the United States yet. It's slowly coming and getting better and better, but as long as we're getting more people involved and more people can actually get products over here in the United States and become distributors, is going to help big time. Yeah, shrimp are a weird one. It just depends. Really, it comes down to how old your tank is, because yeah, even when your tank is cycled, sometimes shrimp can be kind of sensitive, especially if you're doing neos. Neos are going to be your easiest, but carrageenan you definitely want even more established. But even my tanks, it took even after it's cycled. I mean, I still let it ran for 3, 4, even 5 months before I ever added carrageenans in it. Just because shrimp and inverts in general are just more sensitive than fish are. So basically, what you're looking for is stability. You want your tank to be pretty much absolutely stable. And of course, once your tank is cycled, that helps, but that doesn't mean it's stable yet. So, but, but yeah, it usually just takes a little more time to, because even when your tank is cycled, I mean, pH could be jumping around. I mean, there's many different factors of stuff that can be jumping around to where it might just shock shrimp pretty easily. The good thing is once shrimp start breeding your tank, that new livestock is way more accustomed to your water parameters because it makes sense because the fish are born in your water quality, so they're pretty much immune to that, and basically become at that point they become indestructible. I mean, my orange lilies that bred in the 45F, I mean, it's going to be pretty much nearly impossible to kill them at this point because they're just so established in, my water and they're born in it. So it's just what they're always going to be accustomed to. So sometimes too, it's like shipments between shrimp and depending on who you get it from, I've had many shrimp just die just because of different water parameters, even as much as you acclimate them. Sometimes some just don't make it. That's why even same thing with fish too. I mean, that's why I always order more than I need because you always have to expect some deaths pretty frequently. It's just one of the perks, but my 45C should be turning on soon. Those my 90P still turns on for 8 hours a day, but actually this tank and my shallows actually only come on for 7 hours now. It's really helped with some of the hair algae. Because shallows aren't bad; they're pretty established now. I mean, the 60F still has a little bit of problems, but it's just a tank that's only this tall with literally a very strong light just sometimes doesn't work well, and so I had to lower the light, and then I eventually got it to where they were balanced out, so it's fine now. The 45 is doing amazing now, but the 45C, except with this, especially with that solar RGB, that is a strong light for that size of a tank, so too strong actually. So I lowered it to 7 hours, and it's been pretty much perfect now, so that's good. Oh yeah, I mean, you never stop learning in the hobby for sure. I mean, there's literally something you can learn every single day. I mean, by simply just reading a book, reading stuff online, there's just no stopping. Because I mean, literally, we just don't know everything. I mean, there's still stuff we haven't discovered out there. It's pretty crazy, but and yeah, I tell people all the time the amount of money I've blown. I mean, I can give you numbers. I mean, it's absolutely stupid the amount of money I've spent to get to the point where I'm at, to where I'm able to consistently make tanks like this now. And I mean, it took a lot of literally throwing money down the drain and practicing and failing, all that stuff. So I mean, I'm no different. I was able to really learn stuff a lot faster than most people. Because I did a lot of research and I'm always somebody that wants to do something right. So, I've always done a ton of research even before I did all this and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I feel just like everybody else. I mean, you can read as much as you want all day long, but until you do stuff, until you physically actually do something, it's totally different. Actually learning it physically is, always what's going to make you better for sure. Oh yeah, Green Godzilla. Yeah, I got some in the 45C. I got like 3 things of Godzilla. That Godzilla is pretty sweet. Has a cool texture to it. yeah, once I'm done with the ADA contest on this tank, well, and basically all the contests, I'm gonna use that tank. Then I'm actually gonna start adding some, hopefully adding some other booster flanger that I've been collecting to this tank. Just because I don't want to throw off like, I mean, some of the booster flanger would look just fine there, but until I do, after the contest, then I'll start adding, because obviously this tank's going to be up and running for years to come. I mean, however long it's going to sit there. So um, obviously this tank, that scape is pretty much permanent for that tank, so I'm never going to change it. So yeah, once I'm done with the contest on that tank, I'll basically kind of not turn it into a farm tank, but I'll basically be adding like other stuff, that other booster flangers that I've been collecting. I'll have to pull out my variegated one, which is real expensive. It just for a little piece of variegated booster flanger is like $100, and it's grown like double the size now. So I need to. It's in a 30C at work, so I need to take that out, and hopefully it can transition to this tank. The only thing that's gonna suck is, and it'll probably have to retransition to another tank. But I just know that 30C is not gonna be a tank I'll have forever, at least, and it'll either be sold or be somebody else's. So I want to make sure I get the plants that I want out of there. What's up? Yeah, I have the Brownie Ghost 2011, and I wouldn't mind getting a piece grown in here as well. I just need a big enough piece to trim so I can have, so 60 people have some Brownie Ghost, and then this tank will also have some for sure. But have, two of the most expensive, boost flange. I mean, there's other boost. I mean, there's Hellfire. I mean, there's other insane species out there, but probably the two most sought after, Brownie Ghost is number one, and then everybody loves some variegated. So, and especially at a lower price if I can grow it out. So, what's up, Aquatic? I think for the bits too, I have all the prices for the 88 tanks, but I think I will actually do one for UNS too, because I can do a thing where, like the standard and premium package that I was kind of talking about, I could do where standard could be a UNS tank, and the premium could be the 88 tank, and I could have those two options too. By the end of the day, like UNS, I mean, yeah, you usually have to pay like $100 shipping for both brands, but I mean UNS, I mean when you compare their sizes, like say a 90p to a 90p, it's like $100 less. I mean, I don't see most people even, at least me telling people like I would just tell people to pay the extra 100 for an ADA, but I think I will just include the UNS because I mean they're just as nice. So, and sometimes some tanks ADA doesn't have every tank in stock all the time, so UNS could always be a backup option as well. But I think I'll add everything I can just so I have options for people. Yeah. There's plenty of people that do grow out tanks. I definitely want to do it. And I probably will once I actually set up the shrimp breeding rack in another room. Because I've been always wanting to do it, like certain boost flanges and stuff like that, where I can grow out plants, and even just growing out stems. Like taking trimmings, bundle them up, and have just a little frag tank of stuff growing out just to sell and stuff. And 'cause the amount of plants I trim on a weekly basis, I mean, the amount of plants I could actually keep is kind of insane. So I think that's what I'll eventually do too, is try to actually start kind of growing out plants, and but also collecting cooler stuff, cooler boost flanders that I can start growing them out and doing stuff like that for sure. Because it wouldn't be very tough to do at all. Like boost flanders, you can actually pretty much just have a tray in soil and just have them grow immersed, and obviously just making sure you missed it, and or you can just have an automatic mister on them. But the only problem with that is like with people buying it, if they don't transition them right and they end up melting in their parameters. I mean, that's how Boost Plant actually does it, and a lot of other companies where they'll just grow all their Boost Flange immersed, and that's why you always get them in like the little baggies. That's how they come, but not everybody can transition them sometimes correctly, and they end up melting. Oh, you could sell plants to pretty much anybody. I mean, I've always eventually probably will get a website, or even then, like even just locally, I could sell plants pretty good. I mean, there's always people looking for cheap plants, so if I can literally make a little bit of extra cash just off trimmings, I mean, it's definitely a little easy way to make cash. I mean, of course, you're not going to make like a living off it unless you do it on a very, very large scale, but it definitely adds a definitely you can get some extra cash out of it for sure. But if I, one day if I have a bunch of boost flanger and I can actually, start, selling it kind of on, quite a bit, yeah, I would definitely get a website going. I should have done that years ago, but it does cost money to run a website. So, and of course, if I don't really have anything to sell, there's no point. So, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Just for my business in general, clients, just having a business page, and then off that business page, I can always, sell stuff too. Whether that be plants or really anything. It'd just be nice to have a page up and running for sure. I just have to figure out how to do all that stuff. I'm not good with computers at the end of the day, so I would need some help. But okay, I need to get to working. Yeah, so far I got the price for all the tank sizes, all the lights that I'd use, and then the lighting stands. So any tanks that would require stands, like say if someone wanted a solar GP on a 90p, basically they would need a stand, of course, to hang it off of. So I have stands bitted up, and then I just got done with filtration. So the two filtrations are basically just going to be a Waza thermos and 88 superjets. So that's going to be like the standard premium, of course. And then lighting, basically, it's going to be depending on the tank size. Obviously, not solar RGB, and then the 88 aqua sky. So aqua sky is just going to be for the 60 centimeter tanks, and then the solar RGBs will basically be tanks just 90p and bigger. But I think I will add the 88 solar RGB option for the 60p and 60H because it will fit, and they do make a 60 stand for that. So I think for the premium option, I will have this 88 solar RGB as a premium option for that 60 sizes. And then twin stars are basically going to be my standard because twin stars are going to work and they look great at the end of the day. So most of the smaller sizes, that's what it's going to be. So like the Twin Star EC, so the clear stands, that'll be for a 30 centimeter tank, 60p, and 45Ps. And then I also have the SM, which is the metal legs, which I can basically have that as an option if people wanted the clear acrylic legs or the metal stands. Both look visually nice. I think the metal actually for clients just because it stays cleaner, but I really like the acrylic legs as well too. But mainly is what the main reason why I have the metal legs included, because the metal legs go all the way up to a 90p size and a 1200 size, so 90p and 120p. And so that's going to be like the standard option for those bigger sizes. So the standard will be like the bigger twin stars, and then the premium options will basically just be solar RGBs. In which there's the UNS Titan 1 too that's similar. But again, if somebody really wants something like cheaper, I can always move the bid and replace something with something else at the end of the day. So this will just be basically just a quick bidding guide. But anything can get changed. If somebody wants a UNS, they can have a UNS. It doesn't matter to me. So of course, even filtration wise, I mean, there's other filtration options too, but those will just be the two that I will have in my bids for sure, just because those are the ones I like use and I know that are going to work well. Yes, I just never really looked into websites at all. So I have heard that it's not too bad either, but I just need to look into it more. What's up, Brandon? I think the next thing I need to write and bid up would be, let's see here. Yeah, I think CO2 options, which is going to be very easy because that doesn't take a lot. basically anything up to like a 60p. It's going to be basically like paintball setup. So I'll probably have standard premium options for those as well. So I'll probably have like standard options. But even then, like I really don't like using cheaper regulators. So I almost just want like just a a one setup, because I'm always going to use GLA setups on my CO2. But I could do a standard premium where standard could be like CO2R or something, and premium could be GLA. But I think I'm just going to do GLA all the way. I'm just going to have a set price for CO2. I think I don't think I should even give people option. Of course, if somebody wants, again, if somebody wants to change or have something cheaper, I mean, that's all up to them. But I think I'll just have a standard price for CO2 for sure. So I think, let's see. Yeah, they're really not that bad. Even if you get the best ones, like the best paintball setups, the ones I put on my shallows and stuff that's a little bit smaller. Um, yeah, like I paint, like I usually get the biggest paintball I can, which are usually like 24 ounces, and then I put a GLA paintball regulator. And after a diffuser or whatever you're gonna do, um, after all that, it's usually like right at $200, which isn't bad at all. It's not terrible. Of course, if you go a full 5 pound setup, you might be pushing 400 or 500, but and that goes for a 10 pound setup too. But yeah, paintballs really aren't that bad at all. They still last a long time, especially on like my shallows. I think they've almost. I think my 40 that's been running on the same CO2 paintball for like 8 9 months now. CO2 generators. I've never seen anybody, at least personally. I don't think I've seen anybody use that like on aquarium setup. So I'm not sure on that. So that'd be something you'd have to look up and see what people. But yeah, me personally, I don't. I've never seen people use that for sure. So I wouldn't have too much info on that, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, the paintball. Actually, I think I have one of them. Because of course I have millions of paintballs filled and ready to go, so I can swap them. But yeah, Tibman basically makes like the best. Of course, at the end of the day, I mean, they pretty much all work. But if you want like definitely a really good paintball, Tibman is definitely the one. But yeah, this is like the biggest paintball you get, which is 24 ounce. I mean, most people are good with like a 20 ounce, and that works just fine. But for like a couple more dollars, you can get a 24 ounce. It just has a little more extra. But yeah, this with the GLA regulator, literally the best setup you can possibly have, honestly. Of course, you can get custom regulators and go crazy, but stuff that you can pretty much just buy right off the market, I mean, that's pretty much as good as it gets. Yeah, frozen regulators, I mean, again, it's just like CF2R. I mean, they will work, but they're just not built as well. Um, I've had more CO2R and frozen regulators break for people more than, and I've never had a GLA one break unless it was the user itself that messed up something. But and again, it's nothing really on the how they work. I mean, again, they work just fine. I mean, if you use them correctly, but Frozone like CO2, the companies themselves aren't great either. The customer service or nothing. So GLA's always had stuff for me all the time. I can contact GLA if I ever need anything, and they can give me what I need within a day or two. So they just always been way better to me, as a company, and of course their products are really good. So that's why I just use them. They're just easier to contact and get things going. So it's just that's the only reason why. But that's why I say if I recommend CO2 and Frozen to people that want cheaper options all the time. But at least me personally, if I'm actually getting the stuff, I'm usually going to go with GLA unless I simply just can't get anything. But that's usually not the case. Oh yeah, you can't send. I don't think it's illegal or they have a law on it, but you definitely can't send full. You can't send cylinders with CO2 in it through the mail. You can get like you can actually get the 74-gram little bottles. You can actually ship those to the mail, and they're obviously those are pre-filled, usually for like ADA and stuff. But yeah, anything bigger than that, they actually, I guess it's a hazard, is what they would call it. But I don't know the full details. I just know you can't. Yeah, for real, it'd be cool. I don't think anybody's actually sponsored by GLA. I just don't think they do stuff like that, but that would actually be pretty cool for sure. I mean, technically, they almost do. I mean, it's not really, again, they don't really officially sponsor anybody, but I mean, they've sent me products to try out, like their Infinity canister filter, their Nature filter. I have one running on the new client's tank, and they sent me that to try out. So I'm definitely like a tester for their products as well, but I wouldn't say it's a sponsorship because it's not like I have to like advertise them or nothing to, like most companies want you to make a video and stuff like that to basically kind of like pay them back, I guess you essentially say. But I haven't really, GLA doesn't really require me to do nothing other than just test the product pretty much sometimes. The small ones are just, I like if you get the small ADA setups, they're just small little setups. I mean, I really wouldn't use them on most setups. Having a regulator where you can actually regulate, and dose actually consistently is just better at the end of the day. But those smaller ones, they're no different, but they're just basically very many versions of CO2. Basically, if you're at the point where you physically cannot fit a full like paintball setup or any CO2 setup, then that's kind of like your option is those little tiny ones. But I personally don't usually want to use those. What's up, everybody? All the new people coming in. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I've actually bred betta fish. We actually just now stopped, but we actually were breeding a couple pairs this past year. So yeah, I've definitely bred quite a bit by now. But yeah, betta fish I have, but other fish I really don't breed at all. But I eventually will be breeding shrimp, a lot of species of shrimp, and that's kind of the plan. At least by the end of this year, I kind of want to get that going. It'll just, it's just money is all. I just need to be careful with how I spend this year. So, of course, all last year, us building this new house, and then all these new setups that I've done just in this year. It's obviously just a lot of money, so I gotta chill out this year and actually build the bank account back up. So filters, okay, we're on CO2 setups. But I am getting some, at least the plan for these displays. Obviously, I already got orange really shrimp in the 45, but then the 60F will have boas. I don't know what species of boas, but they'll have boas in it. And then the 45C after the contest, I think I will put some high grade red tiger shrimp in them. I think that'd be the option. I think that would just look hot in that tank with the red. I mean, I could do like red galaxies and do something even more insane, which I might do too. I think red galaxies, except I'm not doing galaxies in the 60F no more. I think doing red galaxies in that tank and then boas in this tank, I think that would actually be pretty sick because red galaxies will look just as good. But I kind of like tigers too because their patterns are more rigid, which looks cool. Yeah, fish keeping is pretty expensive, especially when you do what I do for sure. I mean, even the tiniest setups are going to be 2,000 or 3,000. It's definitely a lot of money very fast. Yeah, it's just like the 90p. Like, I mean, you start thinking about the money that's just sitting in this room. It's just like, and all these setups really aren't as like high end as they could go. I mean, I could go even crazier with some of these, like the 90p 10,000. about 6,000-7,000 for that one. My 2 shallows, my smallest shallow is like 3,000. The 60F is about 4. The reef that will be right there, the newer one, will be 5 or 6. It's just, and then of course, we haven't got even to the closet yet. It's just of course I do it as a job now, so doing setups and having examples for people to look at, and of course I have way more tanks than this. I mean, in total, I think I have 24 ADA setups around town. Obviously, I just have 5 around me right now, but I have definitely a lot of setups running around. Some that you guys probably have never even seen before. I have so many setups between clients and just setups that I have in town that are used for advertising and stuff like that. I got tanks in dental offices that that I've put in there for free just so I can use them as advertising and stuff. And so there's just a lot of setups that I have going around. Back to CO2. So a 5-pound. What? Yeah, I mean, and I try not to do it as a flex because, of course, having all these high-end setups. I mean, but like I say, at the end of the day, I'm more doing it for, obviously doing clients and, just having plenty of examples. Obviously, I gotta have work to show, what I can do myself. So, without any setups for people to look at, they don't know truly what you're able to do and stuff like that. So, having a bunch of setups around town for people to look at and stuff like that is really why. But I definitely do have the most ADA setups in the country. That's no question about it. Um, unless there's somebody I completely don't even know about that has more than a couple dozen ADA setups. But usually, when you have a bunch of ADA setups, you have some type of platform. Either it's Instagram or YouTube. I mean, there's definitely people that would share that work, but I definitely think. I mean, obviously you got Aquaforce that that's all they pretty much specialize in is ADA, but I definitely think as like just as a one person man over here, and as a hobbyist, that I definitely have the biggest ADA collection in all of America. I just don't think anybody has more than I do. Again, I haven't seen it yet, or I haven't seen anything more. Of course, not only the setups, but I literally own every ADA product that there is. So until I can find something that has more, I think I'm on top at the moment. Which is cool because I mean, of course, like ADH is not here, so I mean, I'm just you know, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to flex anything, but I'm just trying to bring ADA more into the United States. I mean, you see, it's literally a work of art. I mean, especially if you've seen a full setup in person. I mean, I just definitely want the stuff to grow here. I mean, if I'm not going to do it, really, there's very few other people that will. So, I'll definitely be the person to blow a bunch of money on setups and you know try to advertise it as much as I can for sure. I'm in a great position to do that. So, you know, I can't say in 10 years I'll be able to do stuff like this. So I'm going to do it now while I can and try to do as much setups and keep scaping and, putting myself out there and putting, the brand out there too, ADA in general. You know, I just want people to really, really start doing plant tanks. I think people are just really missing out on a side of the hobby. Let's see. Yeah, if you've really seen like any high end step in person, I mean, it really does changes. I mean, videos never do anything justice, of course. I, that's what I like saying earlier. Like when people come into the shop and I mean, see the plant tanks and see like a nice full ADA setup. I mean, they might not ever, they might not ever buy one, but people sure do can appreciate it. And let's see, and it does, it gets people thinking too. 50, let's go with $50. Yeah, basically the plan is I'll have this binder. I mean, I could probably eventually get something nicer. I mean, this is a pretty heavy duty binder, but I might try to get something more professional. But then um, I have these sheet protectors too, to where I'll print off all the stuff that I'm writing down right now. I'll basically officially make papers of each setup, and basically like the cost of different packages that I was talking about earlier. And basically they'll be slipped into these like basically protectors. Obviously they have the cutouts for the binders too, so they'll be protected. Basically make it nice and professional. Keep it all nice and stuff, to where I can bring this book around to people. And even if people don't look at it, I can still like have it just for myself. Flip through it and be able to do bids a lot faster too. And I'll make sure I include basically pictures of each page will have a picture of the setup. I'm deciding if I want to do like example pictures, like actually fully set up of like that size. I don't know if that'd be too much for the picture. I mean, for like the page itself. I don't know if I need to do like I'm thinking about doing just an extra page dedicated to like examples, but I'm not sure yet. I mean, of course, people have seen I've seen my setups or have seen a size that they like. So I don't know. I might just, simply just have a page dedicated to each size tank and, just go from there. But just because just like I said, I don't know how many people are really going to actually be able to look at this book themselves. This book mainly just might be for me at the end of the day. So, hmm. I actually technically have personnel now. I have a couple people that do help me and get paid as well. But Um, right now, basically, I can do it all myself right now, but it's going to get very complicated very quickly. So, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely have workers in the future. And of course, basically, what all this is even going to lead up to anyway, is eventually once I have so many clients, and basically, this is just to help me keep building, money and reputation too. Just getting my name out there and keep doing setups and advertising plant tanks in general. And basically, what this will basically turn into long term. And obviously, some of you guys already know this, but basically, the long term plan is basically to eventually just open up my own nature shop and have a storefront, basically, to where I can still basically do clients, but then also have having a store itself, and actually have a gallery and selling products, selling livestock. That's basically going to be the end goal, basically. And that's basically like my 10-year plan is basically right now just keep doing it, the couple jobs I'm doing now and make good money on the side, still do all this client stuff and run my business. And then basically all of that will just combine at the end of the day. And all that money that I make from all those things are going to go towards, the store one day. So it sounds like a long time for now, but basically I just want to have so much money saved up to where I can go into doing that and basically make basically be backed up to where even if I can't make money at first through doing a store, I can still be able to, afford to live and stuff like that, even if I don't make money at first. Of course, opening a business is really hard, especially when you're first starting. Some people literally don't make enough profit to stay open. So I'm hoping that I can have so much money saved up to where I can still do everything I want to do for the store wise. But then have enough money still saved up to where I can basically live off that money still and don't have to worry about where I can still pay my workers and pay, the bills to where I can still, feed myself and live comfortable and not have to worry about making as much money at first. Because of course, any business, you're not going to make as much profit. It might be 2, 3, maybe 5 years before you're finally actually turning over. So it's just one of those things I want to, prepare now and, you know, some more prepared down the road so we don't have to struggle because it would you see it all the time. People open a business and they stay open for a year and then have to shut down, and that's not something I really want to do. So I'd rather save up for 10 years and then do it and do it right than try to you know pull out loans and try to do stuff that I can't physically do right now. So because the goal is to not pull out a business loan at all. Basically, I'm going to do it all in cash. Again, which sounds insane, but I mean, with the position I'm in, I can easily do it. So business loans, I just don't want to be paying anybody. Of course, I don't want to be borrowing anybody's money. I want to basically, pay it out in cash because, of course, trying to pay a bank back and it's just um, potential interest and stuff like that. So it's just like same thing with buying a house and stuff like that. I mean, I'm never gonna pull out a loan for a house. I'm just always gonna pay everything in cash. I just hate the idea of taking somebody else's money, the interest and everything else that goes with it. So, uh, I just think that's how people literally get screwed these days is by loans. Loans just ruins everything for people. So they get locked in and they can't afford it. So that's why saving up for as many years as I'm gonna be doing is why I'm good. And it could be faster too. Like if the clients really start building and I start having a couple dozen or more clients and I really start having a lot of people to where that ends up kind of becoming my full time job, then if I start making money way faster, it could come sooner. But again, I'd rather try to make as much money as I can in that 10-year period to where I can have the money that I need saved up and more to where we can go into this thing, basically we don't have to worry about money. Like we can do what we want and, don't have to worry about anything, you know, basically because, especially with local fish stores, they're so money tight and, some things they may have to go cheap on. And, I just want to basically do everything right the first time, do everything we want to do, even if it's going to cost a lot of money, because definitely the shop that I want to do is going to be very, very nice, a very high end nature shop. And I want to basically do everything I want to do and have the money to do that the first time. Because trying to go back and redo stuff, in the future is just going to be a pain. So I'd rather spend the money, now and get it all done the right way. Because yeah, there's definitely a lot of extra things that I see fish stores not do these days that I want to basically do it from the beginning. Mostly because it just costs a lot. Like like one example, like auto water changes on stock tanks. That's something that you see a lot of great fish stores do, and I think it's something that it's definitely something I'm going to do. Having auto water changes on all your livestock tanks. Preventing diseases and stuff like that. Having extra space in the back, a lot of extra space in the back for inventory, and just having extra stock tanks in the back to actually quarantine fish before they go out into the showroom floor. Just having all that extra stuff that nobody else will do. And, quarantine and auto water change is a big one that's going to save money on employees. That's going to save time on employees, time on myself. Doing water changes on a ton of tanks like that. Little stuff like that is stuff that, I'd rather invest in from the beginning. And, it's just like the stock tanks, imagine trying to rip all that out and do auto water change systems down the road. That's just not something that I'd want to rip out and do over. So I definitely want to do everything right the first time. But the goal is to have plenty of space too. Because I mean, I think the goal would be, you know, to get one building first, and then it'd be nice to upgrade to a final building, like actually have a building built from the ground up and have a building that I actually want, and design the way I want it. That'd be like the actual major goal if I was able to open a second, but not really open two at the same time, but close the first one down and open up a brand new second one that's going to be much larger, and that'd be like the major goal. But it depends on the building that I could get, from the beginning. I mean, my plan would be to at least get like 5,000 square feet would be pretty much amazing. That'd be plenty of room to do what I would want to do. But even 10, 15 would be like the goal one day. Just having plenty of backspace. Not just storefront, but just backspace to where we can have tons of quarantine. We can have tons of breeding racks to where we can breed a bunch of stuff in house. We can even culture our own plants. Just this world, it's basically just limitless. What we can do. So I just want to have plenty of space to have limitless possibilities. The tanks I have now, I mean, there's way too many now, but at least what's around me, 90p, 45C. I got a 45F right here, shallow. I got a 60F shallow right here. Some of the other tanks that I do, I got a 60p, 45p. I got another 60p. I got a 30C. So yeah, and many more, a 60H now. So there's like I was saying earlier, I got like a couple dozen 88 setups now. So the best thing to do would be to follow me on Instagram and see. I have tons of pictures of all the setups I do on there too. So you can always check that out. Or YouTube. I mean, I don't show as much on YouTube frequently just because of literally all the setups I have. But YouTube definitely displays a lot of setups that I have too. But yeah, I know I talked quite a bit, but I hope I didn't bore you guys. But I just like to share my plans sometimes. I've been definitely planning this for years and years and years. So and people will still say it's going to be impossible to do, especially the way that I want to do it. But I know what I'll be able to do. So I mean, at the end of the day, so sometimes you just gotta, even the people that are going to tell you it's going to be impossible. But I've already proved many wrong with what I've done now. Nobody thought I could actually make a business out of this stuff, and here I am. So a store like I'm like talking about might sound insane, but we've all seen crazier happen. So I mean, as long as I keep doing what I'm doing and plan it all right, it's going to happen. We just got to take it one day at a time, and it'll come. Let's see. GLA grow. Let's see. Yeah, the 45C finally turned on. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice. I mean, of course, you guys are seeing it from far away, but I'm on my monitor cam, which is pretty nice. I'm trying to use this more often because it's actually a 4K camera, so hopefully it look pretty nice. Or bad, but yeah, definitely really clear video for a live stream for sure. I'm sure. I don't know how it looks for you guys, but it does look pretty good from my end. But yeah, most people never invest in 4K live stream cameras, but as much as I live stream, I think it's a pretty good investment. But I could still that's really meant for monitors, the one I have. But I could even invest in an actual camera if I wanted to. Because yeah, you can hook up cameras to your monitors too, where I can actually have a really nice camera hooked up to the monitor and film as well. But this is fine. I think it looks pretty good. You can always go crazier though. I think it just visually looks nice too. It just gets I think it makes the tanks look great in the background too. Just everything looking crystal clear. But yeah, if you guys can see the 60F right here, and then this is the old reef tank, but I'm slowly selling everything out of it, and it'll be tore down. Hopefully pretty as soon as possible. But I'm slowly getting rid of that, and I have a new reef tank cycling. I'm in another room that this will get replaced with. It'll basically be like a 60p size, but for a reef. So I'm not like transitioning the reef or nothing, but I do have one reef tank that I'll be doing. Mostly because I'll be doing a full SPS setup, so I'll be actually, using it as like a money tank. Definitely make a lot of money fragging corals, so that'll basically be a little extra. Of course, it'll look good too, but it'll be definitely like a little money maker tank at the end of the day once it starts growing in, which will still take a while probably. But and then the 45F, as you guys see, this one's looking pretty nice. But that's where all the orange lilies are in here. But yeah, obviously my desk, all the stuff that you can't see around me. That. Let's see. Let me see. Readjust it there. Yeah, plus this one is some people might hate it, but this one's naturally a wide angle too, which depending on what you're doing, some people might not like, but it works great for what I'm doing because it literally just showcases like the whole room and the tanks and stuff. So worked out. This thing worked out pretty good. But I'll stop rambling about cameras now. Not acting like I know anything about them. Let's see. So the Pro DS. Yeah, I'll probably just do. So I got the CO2. So yeah, basically for the CO2 bundles, basically it'll just be either a paintball setup or a 5 or 10 pound, depending on the size. Let's see. Yeah, I'm basically just going to do a GLA paintball setup, and then the 5 or 10 pounder will have a GLA reg. They do have the Pro DS, which is the longer one, which still looks really nice. But then but for only like $40 more, you can get the Pro one, which is more compact and more heavy duty. So I think that's just what I'm going to do. And plus, it saves space too. So I'm probably just going to have that as like the mandatory regulator for anything 5 pound and bigger. But again, if somebody ever wants something just a bit cheaper, then we can always go back to the Pro, the DS one. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom. Back. Sorry. I'll see. I don't know what this week's video is going to be about. I do need an update on like do an update video on like literally all these tanks, but I might just do like a whole like update on every tank video pretty much, just so I don't have to film a bunch of videos on each tank. But I might just go around and update on everything. But that might be a really long video, so I might not do that. But I'll look at what I have uploaded and see what I need to really film. So I just updated you guys on the 60p, which I definitely need to do. I need to see what else videos I need to make for sure. But I might actually do an update video on the 45F. That's definitely one that needs one. The 60F as well, but I'm going to let that kind of grow in as more too. So, but that tank's been up and down. So it's just been kind of changing so much. But I might even do, so I might do an update video on the 45, but I actually might do a little trimming video, do a little like mini Ugumi trimming cinematic. So as if I really know how to make a cinematic, but I'll try. Hey, what's up? But I definitely need to take down the, honestly, my old logo. It works for now. There's nothing wrong with it, but I definitely want to get my new logo made. It'll be done differently this time. This one's all stainless, but I definitely want to get like a really nice. It'll be probably the size of this whole space, but I'll get my actual newer logo made right there. I think they'll look pretty sick on the stream, having my logo, and then of course you see the 88 post right here. But that's the only problem is you can't really see this whole wall because eventually I want the 88 logo made as well above this poster. So I just don't know. I almost thought about putting the 88 logo right here and then my logo up here, but at the end of the day, I think it'd make more sense for the 88 to be above the 88 poster and then have my logo above, the 90p. But then on this like long stretch right here or this way, up above these doors, I'm gonna definitely have. I don't know if I want to do a mono quote or I definitely want to put some type of quote up there, or just put something myself. Recreating nature up there, just something in that terms. I think. Or actually, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to either do it on the ADA sign or somewhere, but I definitely want to have one of Amano quotes made. To know Mother Nature is to love her smallest creations, and I think if I had it really smallly made, that could go across this entire, back wall right here. I think that'd look pretty sick up there. Either that or engrave it into the sign that I'm gonna have made for the ADA logo. But I think if I just make the ADA logo by itself, I think that'd look pretty sick. And then have the logo made by itself as well. I think having those separate would be pretty sick. So I think just having a quote, I think up there would be perfect to have like a quote spelled up there. I think it'd look pretty cool. But it'd also be cool to have it like right above this window too, where I'm at. I think because obviously my door's right here, so right when you walk in, you'd see that quote too. So I'm not sure. I might just have multiple quotes, honestly, but I definitely want I want Amanos quotes somehow, somewhere in this room, some way or another. But yeah, I think it would actually look pretty sick up there. Because of course, like right when you walk in, you look around, you see all these tanks, then you have Amanos quote right there. I think that would actually be better. So up there, I'm not sure yet. I've even thought about actually posting because all above here is my ADA plaques from the contest, but my other contest plaques I have thought about putting up there as well. So we'll just see. I think some type of quote of some sort would also look pretty sick. I think it'd look real clean because I think my ADA plaques will remain up there because it'll be a long link, so I'll be able to do quite a few years of that. But then I think over here where I have the other ADA poster, the contest poster right there. I think I might move that to the end of the wall, or at least move it, because right now it's just centered up on the wall. So I think if I move that over to the left, and then I have this extra space on the right side of it, and I might actually hang up my plaques for the other contests as well, like my rankings and stuff. So we'll just see. I mean, it sucks. I've taken up so much room with stuff, so I'll just have to see what I got. I'm hoping I can actually get a hold of the 2022 poster. That I think that'd be pretty cool. stuff. I'm just thinking. I got another day of thinking how I want to do the room. So, okay, back to what we were doing. So we got that. So now we need a bit of different CO2 equipment, or at least diffusers and stuff like that. All right, we'll see you, Johannes. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming out. Okay. So I'm definitely going to have the GLA inline for sure. If I can find that. Diffusers. I think reactor-wise, it just depends, but I think I'll bid up the GLA reactors, but they're always out of stock, so I don't even know, but I can figure out whatever. I'll just go ahead and bid them. So the inline. So I think GLA, the inline ones are pretty much the best. I mean, there's a couple others too that are pretty good, but kind of crazy how both sides are the same price. So I guess I'll just put $52.99. And then we'll go back to the reactors, which those are both $59.99. So GLA, let's see, reactor. Reactors, I'll probably only bid up. I'll probably have it on the premium. Yeah, because I'll have the premium and standard packages for basically like every item. Or, I mean, I don't know. I think I'll have everything separate, but then I'll have like a standard package to where I can just put like, this is the items I'd recommend for the standard, and then this is the items I'd recommend for the premium. So let's see, 59. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll look at Neo diffusers. If anybody on here is just joined, I'm basically just doing some work here, so I might not be very entertaining. But if you guys have questions or anything, I got the stream pulled up. So if you guys have any questions, just definitely comment and I'll answer that for you. I'm just gonna be kind of working at the same time, so kind of working on some bid sheets for clients. So fish looks still. Yo. Users. I clicked off it. Okay. Oh, I can't. Nice. So it looks like, I guess I'll just charge 30. Well, we got peak. So let's do Neo. $29.99. I think that's it. Yeah, GLA inline, GLA reactor. Got the inline diffuser. If I'm using inline, I mean, if I'm going in tank, it's always going to be Neos. So again, if somebody wanted something crazy like the 88 one, I could, but I just think the Neo ones just visually look nicer anyway, just with the straight acrylic tube, and they just I think they even look nicer than the 88 ones, because the 88 ones, yeah, they are nice, but they're bigger at the end of the day too. It's like I really don't want to see the CO2 at the end of the day, so I just rather stick with something smaller. And Neo literally has like the best diffusion. I mean, ADA, I think I would say they have the same diffusion as the Neos. Again, they're really nicely built, but they're just more clunky. So I'll just go with those. So then I think I have everything. So and then CO2 line, which let's just go back to GLA for that. Oh yeah, and the check valves, which I usually just go with ADA anyway. So I'll probably just do clear. Let's see, low pressure. So it's so it's 15. And then ADA check valve, which I think are like $5. $7 now. So $6.99. Okay. So what else are we missing? So we got the tanks, regulators, diffusers, check valve line. I think that's it. Oh, I guess I'll include drop checkers. Why not? I guess a premium option I can do the ADA one, which again, not much of a point. Let me check out Greenleaf. Because drop checkers, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to take them out eventually anyway. There's no reason to keep them in there long term. Drop checkers. Holy. Is this a glitch? There's no way they cost this much right now. That literally says 200 bucks. There's no way. So I'm on GLA right now and like Cal Aqua, you know, a nice glass company. It's showing that their drop checkers are like 200 bucks right now. There's no way. Yeah, it even shows like the little clip ones for the clip ones are even 150. I don't even know if this is right. That's okay. Never mind on that. Let's see what Boost Plat has. CO2. So Diamax has their drop checkers. That'd probably work. Because again, it's not something that's going to be in the long term. Let's go back to that. And Diamax has their drop checker solution too, so that's actually kind of nice. So we can get, wait, so there's two different sizes. I think. So that's gonna be like 20 bucks. I think terrible, it'd work. What do I have? Well, that's crazy then, because I have the Cal Aqua drop checker, the one that's apparently 200 bucks. It's on that 90p right now, so. And I know I didn't pay that much for it. I paid like 60 bucks for it. I mean, it was more expensive, but I don't know why it's 200. Maybe because of the market right now, and like that stuff just hard to get. I mean, well, the company's just not making that stuff because of material shortage, but I don't know. I mean, I can't see that being a glitch. I mean, literally, because it's not like all of them are the same. You know, they have all the main bigger ones for 200, and then the smaller guys are 150. I just don't think that's right. But literally, they might just be charging it. Just okay, let's do this then. Let's go look at their lily pipes then and see, because that would tell us if they really are charging that much for. So let's see, aquascaping, lily pipe sets. Oh yeah, it must be. Yeah, I don't think that's a glitch. 'Cause, yeah, they're lily pipes. Yeah, their main lily pipes are 250 right now from Cal Aqua. That's literally insane. Because I mean, if we're gonna pay 250 a pipe from Cal Aqua, you might as well just get an 88 one for 150. And people already complain about 88 enough. That's insane. Well, looks like nobody's gonna be buying that for a while. That kind of sucks because Cal Aqua is kind of like the backup option for glassware. If you didn't want to, if 88 wasn't in stock, or you know, somebody didn't want to spend the money on. What CO2 reactor did you get? Yeah, drop checkers don't really need to be expensive. There's just fancier ones out there that are just made nice. Like the 88 one, I do own it. It's like crystal clear. It's actually pretty sick. And of course, when you have a full 88 setup and you have an 88 drop checker, it just makes everything visually look cool. But yeah, I mean, literally drop. Um, the drop checkers really don't matter. Again, you use them for a couple weeks to set your CO2, but again, you don't really need the drop checker to set the CO2 either. I mean, it's all by kH and pH, but it kind of just helps you get somewhere close, and then you can really adjust it later. But I'm assuming you're talking about the GLA one. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've used the GLA one many times. I mean, I've never, at least me personally, I've never had any problem. At least not on the reactors. I mean, I've had problems sometimes. A couple times, like the regulator does something weird, but GLA we're pretty good. We're pretty good with each other. But they'll always send me a new item within days in the mail. Usually, if something that ever happens to anything I buy. Let's see. Oh, I clicked off that. So I did check valve, I think. I think that was it. But even then, like some of the better CO2 reactors really aren't here in the United States yet. So, because there's I don't know, it's Aquatech. Let's see. I always forget the actual name. There's one that's like pretty much like the go-to one that I've used before too. That's pretty much the best out there. That regulator reactor. See if I can find it. Yeah. Those are pretty nice too. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as it works. I mean, CO2 reactors aren't complex systems. I mean, you can almost make one yourself pretty much, but yeah, I always forget what the one. It's a product in Europe, but I always forget the main brand. I'll have to find it later, but the one I'm thinking of is like pretty much like the go-to one for like everybody around the world. It's just built really well, but I'll have to find it later. So, so we're on drop checkers. So I feel that. Yeah, there's been a couple things I've wanted to not really invent, but actually try building and stuff and make a couple products myself. But again, it's just I'm way too busy as well. You know, running a company, working at another fish company on the weekends, running the weekends there in charge, and then my full time job during the other 5 days of the week. It's just it's been like that for the last couple of years now. I really don't have time for anything. Yeah, algae scrubbers that'd be pretty cool. There's some real fancy ones out now. I forget who made it. I was just looking at a new algae scraper or scrubber. I mean, yeah, there's some insane ones out there. Like if you can really spend some money on an algae scrubber for sure. But Yeah, like at the store that I work at, the ADA shop that I work at on the weekends, we'll sell packed vellums. Um, that's kind of the main one we selling. Yeah, that boy's pretty expensive for sure. But then you got like CW, like the CW 50 and 100. Those are pretty expensive too. I think even Toonsy makes one as well. LED grow lights, full spectrum. Yeah, that ain't bad. I mean, if it grows, it grows. Yeah. They do have, it only worked for like a subsystem, but Toonsy just came out with the grow light. It's a refugium light. It's pretty sick. I think it's like $100, but it magnetics like their circulation pumps as well. And it's waterproof, so you can actually have it underwater if you ever needed it to. It's pretty cool. But then you got like Neptune's grow light as well. Again, it's like you can go as fancy as you want with some of these things these days, but some things sometimes it's the cheaper stuff works just fine. It's just like ADA. It's like sometimes you're just literally buying for the looks at the end of the day. If you just want something to visually look nicer, it's all just preference at the end of the day. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I think bulk reef. I don't know if it just came out. I just know we got it in our store, and I'm pretty sure it's like fairly new. But yeah, it's actually already out of stock. But yeah, it's $95 Refugium. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat though. It's actually being waterproof. It's real slim too. Yeah, Italian lynch is pretty cool, especially when it's like half and half because the bottom half of the plant's like green and then like the top half is red. So like it still gives you that green, but then the top half is green. I mean top half is red, so it looks really cool. I actually have it growing in the 45C as well. But definitely different for sure, especially being half and half like that. Most plants, only the tips or something are a different color, but literally orange juice is like half and half. It's pretty cool. But if you really want to see the potential of orange juice grow immersed, the leaves will be round and green, but then the stem will be like bright orange, which is why they call it orange juice. Looks pretty insane. I need to get some cuttings and actually put it growing immersed in the 60F so I can actually do something like that for sure. $15. Okay, back to $56. I see a lot of people joining. Just to update everybody, but basically I'm just working right now, so I'm not trying to ignore anybody, but I'll be working, so I'm just kind of having the live up. So if anybody has questions, just definitely ask. I'm just kind of doing two things at once, working with and answering questions. So just doing kind of two things at once here. But I'm basically to re-summarize what I'm doing to the newer people. I'm basically getting a bit sheet made for clients and stuff like that. So basically, I have a book. I'll get basically a book made to where I can have basically pre-numbers, prices already, put it out. So basically, when I do bids and stuff, I don't have to look up anything. I just have it all right in there, just a big binder of what everything cost, and basically like, and then have pages of different size, like a page dedicated to 60p, 90p. Just basically have a page dedicated to each size tank, and basically all the equipment that I would use on that setup. And so it's just all right there to where I could just pick and choose, and depending on what the person wanted to spend and stuff like that. So basically just an easy book to flip open and make quotes really fast, and don't have to literally look up everything one by one again like I usually have to do. Let's see. So we got the drop checkers. I think we're good. I guess if I go back to filters, I never added filter hose. I mean, obviously I just go with ADA on that because their hose is pretty much the best. It's the most clear and it doesn't have any like weird markings on it or nothing. It's a lot thicker too. You can get like clear hose from like Home Depot, Lowe's, or any hardware store, but usually it's like really thin sometimes. And even if you can find some that's thick, it's usually like has markings on it, and you have to take lacquer thinner, rub off all the numbers or barcodes, whatever's on those hoses. So at least with the ADA clear hose, it's like it's literally just made for aquariums at the end of the day. So, and it's really not that expensive. It's like $20 for a 10-foot roll, which is usually all you need for one setup. So that's usually my go-to. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I got to bid up the lily pipes as well. Which I'll just go ADA for that as well, but depending on the person. It's 17 mil. But then again, if somebody chooses a super jet, like they do the premium option, it already comes with hose, so that's kind of a saver too. This will just be for like the Awasa filters, of course. They make all the way up to 20 mil hose, which obviously 20 mil, that's only like, I think the only really other filter that I would use that big is like a fluval, a big fluval filter. What's called? Yeah, like the FX4. I don't know about the XX4, but the FX6 definitely uses like 20 mil, I think. But I don't really need a bid up that size just because anybody that's going to need that size is going to have like the Superjet 2400. So I'm not even going to I'm never going to use like a Fluid Flex or something or a Fluid FX6 on somebody's setup. So I'm not even going to bid that size of hose up. So that, and then lily pipes. It just depends on the setup, but like this setup, I am running a GL8 inline diffuser. And the Sprite effect, I mean, with the inline, that's what's nice about inline because you literally don't see any bubbles in the water in the actual display at all. The only time you get the Sprite effect is if you actually use an in-tank diffuser, because that's when the CO2 is actually getting diffused into this right into the display, and that's when you get a bunch of bubbles and stuff like that. So if you use an inline or reactor, yeah, you don't ever get like a Sprite effect with them, which is nice because they literally get diffused inside the filter or in the hose going out into the tank. So it's usually already way too diffused to even have a Sprite effect. So that's what's nice about those. But yep, it works just fine. Okay. Let's see. So lily pipes. Yeah, that's why like on these bid sheets, like the only two filters I'm actually bidding for are the Wazas or the 88 Super Jets. Those are the only two filters I'll ever use on setups, really. Yeah, because yeah, I mean, yeah, our FX6s, they have a lot of flow and they're big and hold a lot of media, which is important, but they're just cheap. I mean, all the other filters on the market are just cheaply built, so that's why I just don't use them at all. So there's so many people that they'll argue with me all day long about how FX6s and 5s and 4s are like the best canisters on the market when they're really not. They just say that because it's the most expensive filter at Petco, but it's just people that really don't know what else is out there. It's the same people that say like the Fluval 3.0s, you know, they say like those are the best plant lights. It's literally because it's the most expensive light at Petco, so they think it's the best. It's just people that don't know what else is out there. Not that none of that stuff doesn't work, but it's just I just know how people think. You know, I see it all the time when I work on the weekends at the ADA store. You know, people come in and they see how much an Waza filter is, and then we argue for 30 minutes about them saying that they have a Fluval which is cheaper and better, but I'm not even gonna try to argue no more with people. I'll just let them find out for themselves. So lily pipes, I don't really think. Yeah, if you're doing an inline diffuser or even a reactor, that is, definitely do it on the outflow, because if you do it on the inflow, basically because obviously the water coming taking from the display is going to be your more dirty water, so it's going to clog your diffuser or reactor and make it dirty really fast, which you don't want. Technically, it would still work, but yeah, you're just going to be cleaning away more often. So it's just smarter to, if you can, put it on the outflow, because at least that's where all the clean water is coming out, and it'll still get dirty over time. But yeah, it's just going to be it's going to be months and months before you ever have to actually clean it. So yeah, if you can put it on the outflow, it's definitely better for sure. Trying to think, because like if I do a standard package, if I want to include AA lily pipes, but at the same time, it's like if I'm doing a high tech setup, no matter what, it's like I really don't want to use any other, because you guys, I mean, all the other lily pipes right now are really almost just as much. Unless, I mean, I'll probably still bid for like stainless pipes if that's if somebody wanted an option, but then again, like if I do a premium option where that would include super jets, those already come with their lily pipes. So I guess I'll go ahead and just bid for. But if somebody really did want it, but me personally, I would never actually put like the stock inlet and outlet on a tank. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do 88 lily pipes, which really aren't that bad. I mean, usually it's like 200 for a pair, sometimes 300 if you get the bigger models, but So let's see here. Yeah, I've actually seen people do that, and it just depends. I mean, honestly, I guarantee it's going to cost more. It's going to cost the same or even more to get somebody to custom make something even close. So, because I think I've looked it up before, but even then, like the glass that ADA produces is some of the clearest. Literally they make some of the clearest glass in the world, and so like it's like I don't even know if any of it can even compare sometimes. So, like I said, it's probably going to cost you just as much or more to get something custom. So. But yeah, like a glass spray bar, that'd be something that'd be pretty simple. I think that somebody could do. I don't want to say cheap, but definitely reasonable. I've actually seen that done too, a glass spray bar. Okay, so I'm on lily pipes now. I got to figure out. So I guess I use the P2. Do some real quick. ADA makes the regular flower shaped lily pipe, which is the most the common lily pipe shape that you guys always see. They make 3 different 13 mil sizes, and basically that's just how big the opening is. Basically for like larger tanks. So I think like the P2 is for like a 45 to 60 centimeter. The P4 and 6 like 90p and 120p, but typically if I'm doing a 13 mil setup would be like on a smaller tank anyway. So usually we're using 5/8 connections on anything bigger like a 60p or bigger. So I just go with the 17 mil pipes for sure. So let's see. A P1. P. Oh yeah, that's why I was trying to. I was gonna try to stop that noise real quick. Yeah, we got a bird in the house. Hopefully it's not too loud or I'll. Yeah, we usually don't have like really pets at all. Of course, I have fish, but we do have one bird. He's pretty trained, but yeah, sometimes he gets too excited and starts making noise. Especially when he hears somebody in this room, he'll start trying to stick his head under the door, and like he'll hear me talking and stick his head under the door and make noise. Yeah, he's pretty well trained. He actually free roams, but he'll go back to his cage once he. Yeah, he's a pretty good bird. Yeah. Like I said, he's pretty trained. Like literally, he just free roams throughout the whole day when people aren't here. He usually just like stays at his cage is opened up, but he usually just stays like hanging on his cage. But yeah, he'll walk around sometimes. Like I said, he'll hear me talking here and literally walk out the room and come over here and look under the door. And that's when you guys were hearing that noise. He had his head under the door trying to look what I was doing. Okay, so back to the lily pie. So we got the 10 mil. So I'll just probably do the P213. And that's 89. And then the P6. It's 130. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of other pets. Like, of course, like fish. I mean, I don't know if I even consider fish, honestly, but to really be pets. But yeah, birds is about as far as I'll ever go. Yeah, ours is pretty. I mean, ours is like he's probably like this tall. He's pretty big, probably 6 or 7 inches tall. But so he's like I want to say he's a big bird, but still pretty small. But yeah, he's really really tame. He'll just like run out of his cage, and when he tries to get when he wants attention, he'll chirp like that. But he's usually like dead quiet. My phone. Oh, he's a conure bird. It's not like a real crazy species. Like usually, unless you get a really nice breed one, they're usually like 600-700. Could be more depending if you get a really nice one. Spin pipe. $95. Yeah, all my plant tanks have fish, except for like my 2 shallows, which are purely just shrimp tanks. But yeah, all the tanks I have definitely have fish in them. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, when you tame them, they're really not like I said. Like ours is so tame. Like he literally just makes noise. Like when he's like scared or wants attention. Other than that, like he's just dead quiet. Like he just walks around and is quiet. Like it's really not. They're really not. I mean, when they do make noise, yeah, they can be. They definitely can have volume, but other than that, they're pretty dead quiet once they're tame, for sure. Okay. Oxygen levels, I mean, if you're talking about like CO2 wise, running CO2 with fish, that's usually not a problem as long as you're dosing the correct amount. It's never going to be a problem. Dosing CO2 with fish in it. You just don't obviously want to go over a certain amount, or you will, choke out your fish. But it's usually no big deal. EA info. We got the V5. Oh, the height diff, I see. So I'll do the V. $29. 17 mil. It's a lot of bidding. But I see there's a lot of new people here, so so if you guys have been here for a while, sorry if I keep repeating myself, but just so I can explain for the people that are coming on here. So obviously I'm just working and live stream at the same time, so I'm not going to be very entertaining, but if you guys have questions, obviously you can comment down below. I'm kind of doing both things at 2 times, answering you guys' questions and working on what I'm doing. But I'm basically just working on a booklet for myself and clients, basically to make it easier to bid out tanks and stuff like that. To where basically I just want a book to where I have already prices ready to go, so I don't have to get online and look at every little individual item. I basically want to do it to where I just have a book where I already have everything already priced out and everything, to where if somebody wants this type of setup, I already have it already bid it up pretty much. So it just makes me a little more efficient, stuff like that. So right now I'm just basically like taking notes and getting prices on every single little item, and then I'll go back through on like Google Docs and stuff and actually start typing this stuff up and organizing it in the way I want to. So basically just getting myself all these prices first. But that's basically what I'll be doing. But I don't know how long I'll stream. I mean, this is what I plan to do today, so I think we're already at 2 hours on this thing, so I'm just gonna keep going now. So we have the mini V1. 72. $82. Then I have to go back to the outflows. So now we need to bid up the straight pipes. Which I think they just make 10 and 13. So mini P10 is 76. Then the P2. Wait, P1. P2 13 mil. That one is 83. Okay. I think that's all the lily pipes bitted up. So I got the P's, I got the spins, I got the mini P's, which are just the straight pipes, and I got the inflows. I just got the regular V inflows, and then the mini V's, which are more for like shallow stuff, tanks that aren't as tall. Okay. I think we're almost done with like physical equipment. Got lights, tank, that. Yeah, got everything. Trying to think what else other equipment wise I'd be missing. Okay. Yeah, I don't personally use the Vivid Tube because I just don't like the look of Chihiro's lights. Of course, when I'm doing setups, I like them to look good inside and out. So that's just the only reason why I don't use Chihiros. I mean, not saying they're not a good light. It's just sometimes they just look a little bit cheaper compared to some of the nicer lights out there. But yeah, the Vivid Tube, if you compare it to the Solar RGB, I mean they're pretty much right on par with each other. They're the same wattage. Um, Pretty much the big thing, the really only comparison is just the 88 Solar RGB obviously looks nicer. I mean, of course, I have two running on these tanks. They look nicer. Of course, it's just built better. The shades are nicer. Of course, there's a nicer stand that you can get for the Solar RGB. It just visually all looks nicer. So really, you're just paying for, especially if you already have a full ADA setup, having this setup on it too is just going to look really nice. But if you don't really care about all that, then the Vivid 2 literally will do just the job for sure. And of course, being controllable through app is also nicer than having built-in timers. So, which ADA is coming out with an app-controlled Solar RGB, which will probably be the same price or even more expensive. So, yeah, it's just really up to the user. If you don't really care about looks, then yeah, Chihiro's all the way for sure, or the Vivid 2. But yeah, they're going to give you the same amount of input at the end of the day. I mean, I guess the nice thing is the Vivid 2 can adjust, like I said. So if it's too bright, but the ADAs are perfectly tuned to where you really don't need to adjust them. And I always try to tell people that ADAs basically fine tune these things so much to where like they're already perfect how they are. Basically, all you have to do is just raise the height up and down depending on what you need. But yeah, again, if you don't care about the looks, Vivid 2 for sure. But if I do full ADA setups, I like to have the ADA lights on them too. They just look nice, having the ADA logo engraved onto the light, and then having the ADA logo engraved on the pole itself. It just all looks nicer. I'm all about looks, so I'll be biased against ADA. But again, if you're not trying to do nothing special, or the Vivid 2 is definitely going to be the one to go with, and it's half the price, of course. So a little more than half the price. Yeah, Cheerios. It's just it's a China-made product. It's just not built as nice. So, but it gets the job done. So let's see. So I think we got all that. Oh, I guess the foggy screen. That is something I'm missing in the background. So I guess I can bid out the light screen and the fog screen as well. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, 10 pounds. Yeah, because I mean they're pretty thick too. I mean the ADA ones are pretty thick too. But the only reason the ADAs are so thick because they have um, so many air vents. It's for air cooling and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't, the ADA one. I mean, I would say it's 5 pounds or less. It's really light. I wouldn't say it's definitely not no 10 pounds. But that too, like with the Vivid too, of course, changing the color spectrum and stuff. But the ADA, like I said, like with ADA already having everything fine tuned perfectly, like the light spectrum that they have on these ADAs is literally perfect. Like you literally don't need to change it at all. But because yeah, with the Vivid too, some people just get crazy. I mean, they'll turn up the reds way more than the greens, and then it just sometimes it doesn't even look natural at that point. Sometimes, at least with the ADA light, it just no matter what tank you put it on, plant tank, it just makes everything look so natural, and it brings out the natural color and everything. I guess at the end of the day, if I tell somebody if you're planning on having a setup long term and you want something to last a long time, get the ADA. But if you're just wanting to have a tank for now and you don't know what the future holds, get a Vivid too. Or if you just like the look, if you want a fancier look and have it all matched, then that's all it should be. I think it's as simple as that. But the Solar GB definitely has like the most natural colors out of the box, which is why I tell people you really don't need an app with the Solar GB. It's just perfect how it is. I mean, you can see from even from a distance just how vivid all these look. And it doesn't make anything look too fake or nothing. Sometimes some of these lights have more red LEDs and which makes some of the things look nice, but sometimes it just throws stuff out of natural. Some things are just not as natural. So I think ADA has really figured out the color spectrum for plants for sure to make them look. It's just no matter what plant you put under a solar GB, it just looks so nice. I'll be right back, everybody. Give me a drink. So let's see here. Oh yeah, the Ecotech freshwater. Yeah, so at the ADA retailer that I work at, of course we have clients and stuff like that, and they'll actually sell the freshwater Ecotechs a lot with the plant setups, which I don't typically agree with, but it's whatever. Um, And yeah, they're. I mean, again, for the price, I mean, literally, I mean, for its price range, it's pretty much split right in the middle between the Vivid 2 and the Solar RGB. But like Ecotech, it's like again, you can change its color spectrum and it'll look pretty good. And of course, they're really bright as well. But I wouldn't recommend a Radeon on a freshwater. I mean, again, it's the person's choice. But if you're just if it's they don't really Ecotech doesn't really deal with freshwater all that, and especially on the planet side. So it's like some of their features aren't just it just doesn't make sense some of the time. So literally just get either a Vivid 2 or Solar RGB if you wanted to spend the money on that one. But yeah, Ecotech, it's kind of a weird choice to me. I don't know. It may just be me, but I just feel like that I just don't like an Ecotech on a Planet tank. Yeah, if but if somebody wants a Ecotech freshwater, I won't stop them. It's all preference, but it is a nice light. Like Radeons, they're really nice lights. I mean, I've used them a bunch, not in freshwater, but plenty of reef tanks. I mean, they're Radeons make the best lights on the market when it comes to reefing, and they surely can make a light for freshwater with no question too. It's the same quality. It's just a freshwater spectrum instead of a reef one. But what's up, George? Okay, so I have the inflow pipes. Oh yeah, I was gonna do backgrounds. So the foggy screen. Yes, I've looked at the ADA 30 anniversary products. I already have a bunch of stuff pre-ordered. So you guys will eventually see videos on that. But yes, I have. And I already have a couple things that are going to be coming for sure. I pretty much will be buying every single thing, but I already have a couple of them coming. Nice. It's always fun setting up a new setup. That'll be fun. So if the water's foggy, if it's like a white cloud, basically all it is an ammonia spike. So in a new setup like that, until your filter is fully cycled and that beneficial bacteria is basically fully established to the point where it can outcompete that ammonia and take it away, you'll always have that white fog. So no matter how many water changes you do, until your filter is fully cycled, it is always going to be there. So literally, it doesn't matter how many water changes you do. So once the tank is established and that beneficial bacteria can fight off that excess ammonia that's in that water column, then it'll clear up. So there's nothing you can do right now. Just keep letting it cycle. You can even dose some bacterial supplements like Aquavitro seed, sea chem stability, stuff like that, to where you can jumpstart that beneficial bacteria into the water column and help establish your media a little bit faster. But yeah, just basically it should just wait it out until your filter establishes. It'll be cloudy. Totally normal. So the 30 by What's up? I mean, you can. A UV sterilizer really is really not going to get rid of like an ammonia bloom. Honestly, UVs are more better for like green water or like other cloudiness. Um, yeah, white cloud really isn't going to get taken away on a UV necessarily. So yeah, it really just need to cycle your tank is all you need to do. Yeah, every tank is different. I mean, depending what filter you use, obviously if you've used established media and transferred it to new tanks, stuff like that, but every tank's gonna be different. I mean, not every tank will have a bad. You know, I do tanks all the time, and 95% of them never have ammonia blooms. Of course, a lot of them I'll use established media, but yeah, it's just every tank's different. So sometimes it'll be just fine. Sometimes, depending on what substrate you use, I mean, there's so many factors on why you'd get ammonia spike, especially if you're using like a planted soil. Planted soil is a ton of ammonia. There's a ton of factors into it. Yeah, just basically let the tank run. Of course, I mean that it just basically what that's telling you is that your media is just not fully established yet, and the beneficial bacteria is still establishing. So until that happens, yeah, of course, I mean a tank takes about, if you're not dosing anything, I mean a tank could take about 4 to 6 weeks to fully cycle. So until it fully cycles, that ammonia, that fogginess will more likely still be there. So yeah, it'll go away on its own. Trust me. But you can help it too by you can still do weekly water changes to kind of remove that ammonia too. But yeah, until your tank fully establishes and it's ammonia free, you'll still have that fog. So it's totally normal. There's really nothing to worry about. $120. So foggy. Now we need to do the light screen, which I don't see a lot of people doing, but when I rescape this next time, way later this year, I definitely want to get a light screen for that setup. It's just quite a bit of money. So 469. Yeah, that's kind of why I mentioned, like, especially if you're using like a planted substrate and aqua soil, of course that's going to leach ammonia pretty badly. But yeah, it literally could be anything, especially but yeah, planted substrates are a big one because they are full of ammonia for sure. So I think I got all equipment booted up. I just did the the background and light screen, just if anybody wants that. Of course, most of the time I'll just be using the foggy background that ADA sells, but I just have the light screen bitted up too if somebody wanted that, of course. So I think equipment wise, that's about it. I don't think there's anything else that I missed. Now it's just going to be up to like substrates and all that in hardscape. Oh, I guess the mats. That's important. Garden mat, so let's see. 40 by 60 by 30. 60 by 45. 19. Okay, and then on 120p. It's really not that bad. A mat for a 180p is about $100. It's not terrible though. Be thick though. Yeah, 180p mat is 8 mils thick. That's 5/16. 8 mils. Holy crap! What is 8 mils around here? It's a thick mat. Well, I guess the 90p is 8 mils too, so I know what that looks like. So we have a 70 by 90p mat. Yes. That's not too bad. It is pretty thick though. So 180. The fun part is when I bid up like each individual tank and what each individual tank setup will roughly cost. It'd be fun to do like a 180p and see how much a full because obviously I'll do like a standard, which will still be again like nice equipment, but more than likely not, because with the 180p, especially with flow and stuff, I'll definitely need to use some of the nicer equipment. So I'll probably like just naturally just have like a AEA 2400 bidded on it and stuff like that. So it'd be fun to see how much like a full ADA 180p would cost. Probably won't be too bad, but still be a lot. Which I need to see if I bid it up for a 180. I don't think I did. Yeah, I did all the way to a 120, so I think I can get a 180p from ADA, but I'll have to bid up a UNS 180 for sure, or like a water box. Let me check. I know like water box wise, I can actually get their 180p pretty easily, but I need to see. I'd rather get like a UNS if I had to get a 180p. Let's see here. So standard. So yeah, a 180 would be 2600, which is not terrible. Yeah, I'll definitely have to make bids up for like UNS tanks too. Which would be quite a blog because then I'd have to do separate pages for all UNS tanks. But again, I don't mind doing that. Just because like some people may prefer the 45-degree edges too, so I might have to just. But pretty much all I'd have to do though is just like copy and paste the ADA bid, but then do just rewrite it and have a UNS tank in its place. Because UNS makes different sizes too. Like they make a 120U, which is, let's see, I think it's just deeper. Yeah, so it's just a 120p, but it's 24 tall and 24 deep, so it's just a lot deeper. So it's about 114 gallons. Let's say Crypt Keeper. But I'll have to definitely, and that same thing, like they have a 90U, which is a 90p, but again, it's a little bit deeper and a little bit taller. They have a 75p, which is actually pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. A 75p is actually what should be replacing our 45p of my mom's work, because that's pretty much its dimensions. It's a little bit wide. It's a little bit longer though. It's 30 inches, but then it's 17, basically 18 deep by 18. Which actually, I didn't even know they had that. At least I didn't think they still had that size. That's actually. I just ordered the new ADA, the new ADA shallow, which is 60 by 18 deep, and then it's like only so tall. But this would be pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. It's sold out, of course, but that's with every tank. That would be cool. I'm not gonna lie. But I like the other 81 too because it's not as tall either. It's still really deep, but it's not as tall. So I don't think I'm not gonna complain too much. But yeah, it's ADA. So, but I didn't think they still made the 75p. Pretty cool. Yeah. So I'll probably do that then. I'll probably, because the thing is, just like I said, like UNS still makes different dimensions. They make certain tanks that ADA doesn't. So I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to, because some people may want something deeper, or if it's going in a certain place or something like that. So. Let's see. I think 80. So some of the top materials I will use, I guess all time. I mean, I guess if I had to choose just one, stone, Frodo stone without a doubt. Wood, I think hornwood would definitely be my choice. I just like the darker tones on that, and that they definitely have more detail and they're thicker, so they always look really natural to me. And then, yeah, I think wood and stone is pretty much the main. But yeah, I think hornwood with really any stone is really my favorite, as long as there's hornwood and. But usually hornwood and Frodo stone looks really nice. I've been really liking black lava stone. I mean, not black. Icelandic lava stone is really nice. Um, it's basically, I mean, it's still lava, but it just looks a lot nicer. It has a nice gray tone to it. It's always looked really nice. I use it in both of my shallows next to me. It's pretty nice. But yeah, my all-time favorite is definitely Frodo and hornwood. Yeah, I mean, glass is never cheap to ship regardless. So yeah, it's kind of. That's probably what I'll do now then. Well, I guess I can always come back and do the UNS, but I think I'll just go ahead and do the UNS sizes. But I will make a sheet too, where there'll be a sheet with like every single size anyway. It'll have the dimensions and the price and all that, so people can see that as well. And then I'll do the same thing for UNS. But I might do a. I don't think I can. I may be able to do it on one sheet, but I can do it where it's like half and half, where just a one big sheet where it can show like all the UNS sizes and then like if somebody wants to look at a certain tank, like say they'd like a 120p, we can flip through the book and go to the 120p page, and then actually have a picture like of the tank and stuff. Just have a simple like not setup or nothing, just an empty 120p, so we can flip and people can see like the size. And again, I might actually put pictures of like set up like example setups of like each size tank, but I don't know. Let's see. Tube. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'm located here in the Midwest in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. At the moment, just for clients and stuff, I'm making a bid book. So basically, I just have every size pre bid up, basically. So I'm not having to, every time I do a bid sheet, I'm not having to look up every little item individually. So I'm basically making a book to where I can open that book up, see the size, and have like basically pages dedicated to each tank, and basically just make it to where I can quickly bid up stuff, basically. And already have, basically already have everything picked out for each tank size and just have everything already ready to go. So there's no, deciding or anything. But shop wise, that is the goal down the road, is actually to have a shop. Yes. Oh, nice. What part of Kansas? Because the AA shop that I work at's in Leawood. Do you have program lights? I can adjust RG on mine, but I have no clue where to start adjusting document. Yeah, Wichita's not. Yeah, Wichita's not. I mean, it's still pretty far, but yeah, the 8-day shop that I work at on the weekends is in Leawood, so probably still a couple hours away. But so program lights. I mean, none of the lights I use honestly are app controlled except for like my ONF. Like my ONF that I run on top of the 60F has app controls, but other than that, not really. I guess if you wanted advice on where to start with something like that, mainly just do a spectrum spectrum, it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever visually looks nice to you. But intensity, just start. Depending on what you're trying to grow and what plants, I wouldn't start at 100% intensity at first. You can definitely work your way up to that, but I would definitely start low and then eventually, if everything's doing fine and you're not getting no crazy algae juice, you can keep raising it until basically you get issues again, and then lower it back down. Just basically try to find a balance in the intensity and see what works best. But again, it just all depends on what plants are growing too, because some plants are not going to need as much light as others too. But yeah, big thing's just intensity. Spectrum, like the color spectrum, honestly does not matter. Just pick one, just whatever looks nice to you. It's as long as it's RGB, which I think you mentioned, it's totally fine. This lens. Let's see. There we go. That lens was a little foggy. Okay, so I'm going to start writing. So I'm going to start doing these UNS tanks. Yeah, if you're definitely, if you ever drive up to like the KC area, definitely let me know. Yeah, I'm at Picasso Aquatics on the weekends. I run the weekends there, and that's the ADA shop that I run. So definitely if you're definitely in the area, I would definitely visit. Control soil. I'm sitting by the one by UNS that you're mentioning. It's fine, but it doesn't. It's definitely cheaper, and because of that, it doesn't last as long. It's not as rich as some of the other ones, so it just won't last you very long. I mean, if you're not planning on having aquascape, a tank set up for very long, it'll do just fine. Um, but yeah, if you're doing like an aquascape and you want it to last, more than a year, I would definitely go with like Chopcar ADA for sure. Yeah, we're kind of all aqua soils, clay based, yes. Mixed with sand, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's just how rich they are. I mean, the cheaper ones aren't going to be as rich; they're not going to last as long, so they're going to deplete faster. But yeah, that's pretty much the price difference, really. I mean, the more expensive ones are just going to last longer. So yeah, yeah, Picasso. You have to Google it, but Picasso Exotic Aquatics is in Leawood, and yeah, we're the only ADA shop in the Midwest for sure. So yeah, I would definitely, whenever you do come down, I'd definitely come through. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we sell Tropica potted plants. We usually have a stock of those, and then yeah, we have a culture fridge, and all those are ADA cultures. So UNS. I don't have an online store. I will probably eventually do when I do start selling a little bit of stuff. When I start doing a lot of the shrimp stuff, and I think I'll start going out. I'll probably have like a little plant farm as well when I'll start really growing some stuff. But that's kind of that's a little bit of ways too. So at the moment I don't, but it's in the works. But I definitely want to try to get a website going though, just for client wise. But yeah, I'll definitely be selling stuff eventually down the road. Let's see. Yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know for sure. Yeah, if you're ever because the thing is, our plants sell very, very fast, especially Tropica and ADA, because we're literally the only ones that sell high quality plants, and we were just a high quality store and high end store in general. So sometimes our stock is very low, very fast. But if you have Instagram, you can always message me if you ever do plan to go, and I can kind of let you know what we have. Because yeah, because obviously, we sell ADA tissue cultures and tropical plants, and everybody knows those are pretty much the two best. So everything goes pretty quick. I 120p. Yeah, crap. So 120U. Okay. So that's the standard sizes. Let's go back. We got rimless shallow, cubes. I guess we'll do cubes next. All the way up to this. It's got a 16C. We got 16C. You know how small that is? A 20C is already small. Yeah, so 20C is 8 by 8 by 8, and a 16C is 7 by 7 by 7. It's kind of cool though. Yeah, that's kind of the goal for me. I mean, it's not really a goal. It's gonna happen, but open up a really nice nature shop to where it just your one stop shop for just everything aquascaping, pretty much. Because yeah, it's just regular local fish stores don't. I mean, the plants they have are just terrible. So it's just the store I'll definitely have will be literally life changing for most people, especially around in my area. Yeah, it's just nobody's willing to really, at the end of the day, like most local fishers don't have money, and basically the way I would set up livestock displays is, obviously you don't want to carry a bunch of exotic stuff because at the end of the day, it's like you do need to make money, and not all that exotic stuff's going to sell at the end of the day. It's just going to it's going to just sit there, and just cost you more money. But you know, it's just nobody ever has like the amount of space to really dedicate to so many species. And my store, the way I would set it up is each tank would just be dedicated to a species to where we can literally set up have just 10 12 tanks dedicated to every have a different species of guppy in each one, just really go all out and be able to carry just so much selection. And for the people that just want something simple, or to some people that want something a little crazier. So And same with products too. We'll carry cheaper setups too. Obviously still nice, but try to keep stuff that's not for your beginner, but then also have setups that are super high end like I do. So it's just that's kind of how I want to do everything. You know, have a little bit of everything for everybody. Everybody has their different goals and needs that they want in this hobby. Yeah, and it's not hard to have hard customer service. It's just some people are just too lazy to ever actually, um, and I'll give you examples. Like, there's a lot of fish store owners that literally just will let their employees run the stores, and basically they just sit at home and collecting the money to where they just pay people to run their, and that's how almost every shop is. I mean, you may see some owners run a little bit of shops, but at the end of the day, they're not there 24/7. And I'm somebody that's not like that. Like, it actually makes me mad to not physically be there. Like, I would not want to leave my own shop because of that. Not that I don't trust anybody, but it just triggers me to, like, even at the ADA store that I work at now. When there's days that I can't actually work there, like on the weekends, it flips me out, and it makes me mad when that stuff happens. And I'm kind of the same way. I just because I just want everything to run the way I want it to be run, and I've been able to change the store that I've worked at drastically because of that. Because I'll tell you now, the store that I've worked at and still work at now, in the beginning, it was terrible. I mean, trust me, we've had the customer. You can read reviews and see what customers have said about the store before I worked there, and you know, it doesn't take much to do people right. So much people are all about money, and um, when you put customers and hobbyists first before the cash, it just makes a world of difference. And I just see it too much in a lot of stores. And yeah, it's just like, and I'll give you another example for, like, at least before I was there at the store that I work at now. um, on the weekends. Like, yeah, same thing like you're saying, like custom orders and stuff like that. It's like, or even just people requesting stuff, they'll write down their number and then never get back to them. And, they basically just put them off. They're basically just trying to get people out of the store. Um, and it's not that hard to literally just, keep a list and call everybody back. And it's just nobody just keeps track of nothing, and everybody's too lazy. So it's not hard to have a successful store. And the successful stores that you see, there's a reason why they're the way they are, is because they actually care, and they're not, just trying to, you know, be money grabbers basically. So of course, at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to make money. That's especially if that's your only income. But you know, if you want people to come back and remain to come back, there's more to it. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, plumbing stuff's a big part of it. I mean, of course, with plumbing sumps, and you know that's why I plan to have such a big space to where I could just have rooms dedicated to stuff like that. To where, like, hey, here's the hardscape room, literally just a hardscape paradise. And then you come into a room with literally parts like that. PVC, different colors, fittings, everything you'd possibly need. But you know, that's why I just want to make it just a one-stop shop where there's literally nothing um, that we don't have that. And of course, there might be stuff that we might run into that somebody actually needs and we don't carry, and that's all. And that's really just comes down to the learning experience. There might be stuff that I don't realize we need and people do, and so that's when I can add more product to the store and stuff like that. So, but of course, we'll be a freshwater nature shop, so it's not like we'll be doing a lot of sumps, especially. But if it's like a larger, of course, if it's a larger tank and somebody's doing a sump setup, of course, you got to have something for everybody. So I'd probably end up selling sumps as well if I had the room too. Just to have something for people. But yeah, the big thing for me is definitely like the hardscape area, and that's something I'm definitely, I mean, like almost top priority. Is just having a room dedicated to hardscape and a lot of it. Big thing with fish stores is they have no lives, no hardscape at all. And literally, if you're going to be an aquascape shop, you need hardscape. So um, the big thing is just having so much hardscape and have a room dedicated to where people can just go in there, pick pieces, even play with pieces, have drawing boards, have pallets that people can work on and, design their tanks in store, play with some pieces and have time to actually make something before they buy it. So shallows. Yeah, and that's the other thing too is like, of course, you see 88 products online, and it's like for example, the 88 tools. It's like how are you going to sell a $200 pair of scissors if you've never held them in person, never seen them, and so it's hard to really justify that money online. We've never seen stuff like that, so that's why even like the store I work at, that's what's so great about it. Carrying 88 products, people can actually see Superjet in person. People can actually feel and use 88 tools in person, see the tanks in person, and that's kind of the same thing I want to add to obviously mine, to where you can just see all this stuff in person. I mean, yeah, I mean we might not sell it very often, but at least it's there for the people that can at least come look at it and actually see what it's all about, and if it's for them or not, whatever. But yeah, it's just some people you do need to see this stuff in person. It's hard to justify some of the pricing of some of this stuff. Let's see. It was 75S. I swear, there's stuff I did not realize even existed. So 75S is a 30. Oh, I see. So it's like the 75P, but shorter. That's actually kind of sick. So actually, that would technically be like the new 88 tank that I just ordered because it's 30 inches. Well, it's only 24 the other one, but that would be the same concept. It'd be only 30 inches, um, 18 inches deep and only 12 inches tall, which is essentially the tank I just ordered, but just it's 24 instead of 30. Do they have that? Oh, it's sold out. That'd be sick. I'd replace that I'd replace my 60F with that in a heartbeat. But it's UNS, so it wouldn't match my all my 88 setups, but it's a cool idea. Okay, so it sure jumps in price though. So a 60S, which is a 60F, like an ADA, which is like what this tank is, it's 130, which is good. And then you jump to a 75S, which isn't really terribly bigger. It jumps all the way up to 350. It's kind of like the 120p versus like the 180p. Like literally jumps up like $1,500, which makes sense. I mean, literally, try shipping a 180p. It's pretty cool. They have the shallow 120, which is a 4-foot shallow, which would be pretty sick. I don't know what the dimensions are. Yeah, I said be 4 foot, 24 deep, which would be sick, and then 14 tall. That'd be really cool. If I had the room, I would definitely. I love shallows. I've been really loving just having a lot of immersed hardscape and plants grow out of the tank. That's just definitely a look I like right now. Okay, so those are all the shallows. They do make the little tall tanks, but I'm not going to do those. I can always do them though, but I'm not going to include them on the bid sheet just because they're kind of they're more meant for terrariums. So they do got the nanos, which is the 3N and 5N. How many gallons are those? So the 3N is only 3 gallons, and the 5N is basically like a mini M. Yeah, it would be. Actually, a 3N would be a 30W and 88, and a 5N would be a mini M, essentially. So I see now. They're on sale too. They're really cheap. Like 25 bucks off each one. If anybody needs a nano. So the nano sizes. So let's see, let's go back. So 3N. I'm just gonna do retail price, so that's 85. I doubt they'd be on sale forever. 5N would be, I should just add this on the standard size. I didn't see these. And that would be 95. Then they have rimless long tanks, which are just long, which are essentially just shallows. But they're not as deep and tall. I guess I can do those as well. The 45L, 60L, 90B. The 90B is really weird because the 90B is obviously 36, so it'd be an 80A. It'd be that 90P, but then it's only 8 inches deep, but not 10 inches tall. It's really weird dimensions. Wait, so 8 inches deep. That's weird. So that's like taking my 45F, making it 3 feet and just a little bit taller. That's a weird thing. I don't even know what you would do. I guess you could do like a river biotope and something like that. Or really, these are all like river biotopes pretty much. It's really all you can do in all these. You guys can see that. I'll kind of move over so you guys can kind of still see. Kind of hiding the 45C. Okay. So I guess long. So we have the 45L. We've been streaming for 3 hours now. Probably gonna be a record. I don't know. I think my longest stream I've ever done was way back in the day. I have to look back. I think I've streamed for like 6 or 7 hours before. Which I don't know why I did. Streams with 90B. The only bad thing, I don't know if half these setups will really be in stock long term. Because mostly it's already sold out as is. It'd be hard to really sell them when they're not even in stock. Or at least, that's the only thing that sucks about a lot of these setups is if somebody wants a certain size and they're like dedicated to a certain size, and some of these setups you literally cannot get no matter what right now. Okay. I need to see how much shipping is for. Never mind. I don't know the shipping of. Shipping's about $100 up to a 45 centimeter tank. And after that, actually no, up to a 60 centimeter tank, it's $100 shipping. But then a 90p is 300, 500. Yeah, so I'm just have to exclude shipping for now because I don't even know a clue what a 180 would cost for shipping. I'm guessing it goes 300, then it goes 500. I guess it'd be like $600 a ship. So we'll just base it off that. That's going to be something I'd have to look at if somebody was actually interested. So it'd be so I'll just do 3. If anybody just joined, I'm basically just working and doing this live stream. So if you guys have questions, definitely. There's kind of not going to be much entertainment, but just kind of doing 2 things at once here. It's hard to tell that. Let's do 7. Okay. Yeah, I think shipping on like a 180p is about $1,000. But I wouldn't know that until if I were to actually go and buy one. $75. I would have to see what this cost. I don't know. Some long. The question is, they haven't stuck. Oh, those are shallows. Let's go back to shallows. Yeah, they haven't sold out, so I don't even know what the prices would be on that. Let's see what a 90. Okay. Was that for an... Okay. Okay, so that's all the UNS tanks bit up. So that's over with. So let's see here. Check on my water. Let's see. Take some pictures here. Turn off power on DI. Okay. Yeah, if you guys have questions, definitely ask. I'm just working here, so just trying to figure out some stuff. Yeah, all my tanks are RDI. It's pretty much a must if you're doing plant tanks, especially because all 90% of the plants that we keep in the aquarium hobby are all soft water plants, and so yeah, they all require soft water. So RODI is going to be pretty much a must if you want a tank to look really nice, especially the plants to be nice and healthy. So yeah, basically RODI. That's actually what I was up. That's what I got up and did was actually turn off my RODI. But yeah, I'll make RODI, then I'll basically remineralize it with salty shrimp, either GH or GH, KH, and plus, depending on which tank. Some of the Caridina tanks, I just add GH only, but some of the other systems, I'll add GH and KH plus back to it, and that's pretty much most of the setups if they don't have shrimp in them. But yeah, then I'll remineralize it to about 120, 130 TDS is what I'll do. Yeah, tap water. I mean, in some places it can be fine, but here the tap water is super hard, so literally it'd be impossible to keep like anything alive. So now I just need to start typing this stuff up, which is going to be fun. Um, I need to get to work. I'm literally reading stuff from like years ago stupid stuff that I read up. Okay. What's this? Okay. Yeah, if anybody new has joined, I know I'm not talking much. I'm just kind of working, but if you guys have questions, just let me know. I'm here to answer whatever. I need to stop reading. Okay, so now we need to figure out how we're going to do this. So the hard part's going to be how we're going to organize all this stuff that I bitted up in a nice professional manner. If it lets me create a new document, what is going on? I'm just going to exit out everything. Let's see here. Close that. How do I make this bigger? There we go. Okay, a blank document. Why does it keep doing that? There's nothing wrong. Why? Why? Why are you doing this? Yes. Yes, Word it is. Could do Excel. Let's see. So I'm definitely going to need some with like a graph. Let's see what they got. I don't know. Damn. Go back. More templates. Business. think we can insert a table. That would help. That's at least an aquarium bid sheet with all the pricing. Look at something though. Okay. So I guess the way we're gonna do this, I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of, because I have like a chart or a graph, I don't know what you call it, a table pulled up where it has, a bunch of boxes and grid lines to where I can put the tank model and then basically the price too. I'm trying to figure out. I guess I can. I did the biggest possible table, so I guess I can. If I cut. Let's see here. Okay. Guess that works. I don't know if that's. You can always stretch. That would leave all that room. Because we got standard. Actually, that might work. Let's see. 20. I need to go back to Well, guys, I think I'm gonna hop off here. Now it's getting slowed down, and I think everybody that wanted to watched, but so I'm just gonna continue to be boring, of course, but I'm gonna keep working on what I'm working on and hop off here so this live stream isn't 20 hours long, but I'll probably pop on here again. Probably, maybe, hopefully doing a maintenance session or something. But yeah, Friday will be. I think Friday I might do it. Yeah, I might try to do a trimming video of. It's really not that bad, but I might try to do a trimming video of the 45F. So it's getting a little long, but that probably will be my video for Friday, maybe. But other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for everybody that came out. I know probably a lot of you guys have left by now, but I'll see you guys on the next one.